Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we've been working through a renovation on a 1956 Calcraft, and we're working on some interior cabinets. If you saw my last video, I started building one of the cabinets in one way, and then partway through I decided that that wasn't really the best way to do it, so I restarted. I knew that wasn't right. Now that meant that I didn't really film the process super accurately, so this week I'm going to walk you step by step through how I built one of these, and also put the doors on them. Put the doors on both of them. So I'll have two pretty much matching cabinets to go above the sink, and we'll be ready to move on from there. But first, before we jump into making the new one, let's talk a little bit about the old one. So originally these things were built mostly out of like a 3/4 inch pine or something similar, and then they faced it using an 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch in some cases birch plywood. These also have a face frame, so you know, if you think about like a picture frame, essentially it's got a frame on the front of it, and then that's attached to the rest of the body. For the style that we're trying to achieve, we're kind of doing frameless cabinets, so we won't be doing a face frame on here, although the door is going to cover up the entire thing, so I could do a face frame if I wanted, but it would be a little weird doing that. So we're just going to do an open front, and instead of using 3/4 inch pine, we'll be actually making the interior frame out of 1/2 inch plywood. So because the curve on my SketchUp is just approximate, I didn't want to rely on an approximation for all the measurements on these cabinets, because I want the bottoms of them to be the exact same height when I install them in the camper. So in this case, I actually took the first cabinet that I built and I laid it down where it's supposed to go on that template that I actually traced from the actual wall, and then I took my T-square and lined it up across the bottom, came back with my framing square, and actually measured how far from that bottom to where the ceiling begins. And then I just wrote those measurements onto my SketchUp printout. Okay, so I need to just rip down a bunch of little pieces of 1/2 inch ply to make all of these little bits. A few of these pieces, these and these in the back, are actually going to be 2 inches wide. The front two so that I have plenty of room to attach hinges and little clasp to, and these back two so that we have plenty to grab on the wall and attach it back there. The rest of them are just 1.25 inches, so it's all pretty easy to cut. So I always like to lay out all my stuff once I've cut them, sometimes as I'm cutting them. Like just now, I laid them all out and realized I'd forgotten to cut the pieces that set the depth of the cabinet. So, you know, sometimes you just overlook something simple, and if you set them all out, you know, it keeps everything nice and in order. I also like to, when I've got a bunch of the same length pieces, I like to be able to just put them all down at once and chop them at the same time. It's quicker, but also, you know, I find it's a little more accurate than trying to measure each one, because, you know, you measure twice, cut once, and then sometimes you go cut again. If you do them all at once, you just screw them all up at the same time. Anyway, got them all, and now I just need to put pocket holes in them so that we can use pocket hole screws to attach them all together. That'll be plenty strong for this, and where the real strength comes from is from that cladding on the outside, the 1/4 inch paneling. That will be glued and tacked into place, so it'll hold everything nice and securely. But pocket screws are great. They're quick, they're strong, no mess, no fuss. Well, I screwed two things up. One, I meant to have these on the other side because that's the back of the cabinet, and I didn't really want to see the pocket holes. But I thought, who cares? It's in the back of the cabinet. I'll just leave it like that. I don't want to have to take it all apart. But then I realized it's a good 1.25 inches too wide. How did that happen? Well, if you do them all at once, you just screw them all up at the same time. I guess I'll get the opportunity to fix which side those pocket holes are on. Now I just have to get the paneling that goes on either side of the cabinet. So I'm pretty sure I can get my two doors out of this piece. It's 25 inches long and I only need 24 and a half, so I can cut off this nasty torn up edge and still have enough to do that. And this piece is nice and pretty flat. I think we're good. So this style of cabinet door is what you would call a frameless full overlay door. So if you're looking for a hinge, you need to look for a frameless full overlay hinge. They also call these like Euro style, which I guess every cabinet in Europe is by law designed this way. But anyway, I'm really happy with these hinges. I think they're going to line up really nice. They have a little bit of adjustment to them. So I think it'll work really well. Okay, so with those two marks made, I'm going to take a Forstner bit in my drill press, and I'm going to drill a hole a ½ inch deep, because that's what this part of the hinge recesses into. I have also mocked this up already to make sure that I'm not going to screw it up. There's still a good chance that I could screw it up though. Table. Okay, so what I need to do to finish this up today is I need to cut the curve on this piece and secure it to the carcass. So to do that, I'm going to make another template off of my original template and do that with my router. This piece also needs to get attached into there, and then this piece will get attached to there. Not too complicated. I've got my door height adjusted correctly. So I just need to put some spacers in there to get this height up to where it needs to be, mark it on there, and then I'll put my template on there and router it out. Word from the wise though, when you make your original template, make it out of thicker stuff to begin with. That way you don't have to keep going back and doing this. I'm going to do a few pocket hole screws to secure it in place. I've marked my door opening reasonably accurately, so I'm just going to line this up and I'm going to clamp it together nice and tightly so it'll stay in place and put those pocket holes in. Oh shoot. Need to put spacers in there first. Don't screw it up, man. Don't screw it up. Okay. Okay. Then I just then I get my router and I zip that out. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, and this is what I probably should have done, is I should cut this down so that I'm not trying to cut through so much wood. Okay, so to attach that onto there, I'm going to clamp it into place. And then I'm going to drill into it from the back through this little piece. Okay, so my last little thing to do is to attach one of these. It's a little door catch. Now, I almost would say that we don't even need these on those because those door hinges are pretty sturdy, but I think it's going to be better with these. Okay. Okay, so I've still got a few things left to do on this to really finish it off. One of it is there's going to be a routered finger pull right here. I just haven't really decided what profile I want on that yet. But I'm going to leave that until the finishing stages because I still have to, of course, fill the little nail holes on the side. And I've got to sand all of these surfaces. And, you know, also, I'll probably sand that down nice and smooth. Separate these out, and then we'll put a coat of poly on everything before we install it. But, overall, I kind of like that. I think that's given me the, right kind of feels for this project. I've got one more of these to finish the face on, and I'm just going to do that in nice, fast time-lapse. I don't know what I'm snapping for. I don't have any plan for that. What am I going to do? Snap and then there'll be two here? I can try that. That snap didn't even work. Hey! About time. Anyway, I hope you found this process interesting. Thanks for watching. Make sure and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Okay, so from this to this. All right, good night, everybody.